Is this a thunder drama by Zhao Liying? Pouting being ridiculed? CCTV's hand-picked drama, of course, must be strong. Help. She was the heroine hand-picked by CCTV back then, and she was laughed at for pouting. Who said that being cute doesn't require acting skills? This is the natural cuteness in the textbook. Zhao Liying's baby face alone made many people cute, but even so, some people still complain about it. You must know that Zhao Liying was the heroine hand-picked by Yang Ma back then. She felt that her big eyes and round face were quite suitable for the appearance of a cart transformed into a human being. Even though Zhao Liying's traffic was not high at the time, she still chose to let her play the role. It's just that I didn't expect that after the TV series was broadcast, I was complained by a lot of netizens, thinking that the picture of Zhao Liying's frequent pouting in the play was too ugly, but in fact, this was added on purpose by the director. It just fits the cheeks of the cart essence, and it is quite cute when it smiles. When she appeared on the stage, she looked like a little sun, her eyes were full of innocence and kindness, and she acted with the cunning that a goblin should have. Although the character looked lively and agile, Zhao Liying was not at all easy when filming. Probably the most difficult TV series Zhao Liying has ever filmed, and even made herself a frequent visitor to the hospital at one point. When filming The Legend of Chasing Fish, Zhao Liying didn't have much experience in filming ancient puppet, various fight scenes and wire scenes, and she was not very proficient in it. She joined the group 1 or 2 months in advance and studied with a martial arts teacher action. Because her body is too thin, she often cannot keep up with her physical strength, and she plays a fish whose house is in the water, so when filming this drama, Zhao Liying was almost always immersed in the water. And the scenes of the Dragon Palace are almost all produced by special effects. Just in the hot summer, not only have to stay in the shed with a temperature of more than 40 degrees all day, but also hang the wire frequently, and constantly enter the water. The thin and small girl, after gritted his teeth and persisted until the filming of the scene was over, he fainted on the scene. But because it was a drama hand-picked by Yang Ma, in order to live up to expectations, Zhao Liying couldn't wait to return to the crew after staying in the hospital for a few days, and started anew filming regulars. Fortunately, her efforts were not in vain. Even in difficult underwater scenes, she can still perform the leisurely state of the little carp, especially the scene of pulling out the dragon scales, which makes people feel distressed across the screen. If you work hard, even if you don't come from a major, you can beat many actresses in the same period with your acting skills. Who said that The Legend of Chasing Fish is a drama? Back then, many audiences were fascinated by Zhao Liying's Hongling, because the plot was adapted from opera or produced by CCTV, and the crew spent a lot of money on Fihuadeo alone thought. In order to highlight Hongling's identity and lively character, the crew mainly focused on the delicate red color, and focused on the eye makeup part. The red scale-like pattern is like a plum blossom, and it is matched with gold powder on the eyelids. Natural and fresh, it looks like fish scales glistening in the water, making it easy to see Hongling's identity at a glance. In addition, the post-production is also quite powerful. The colorful Dragon Palace in the play, according to the production of ancient puppets, usually takes a lot of time to build a real scene, but in order to save money, CCTV directly used the 3D gimmick of ancient costumes. Although looking at it now, it is actually a special effect of 50 cents, but the scene of the Dragon Palace in the play did not cost a single brick or a tile. Before the eyes of the audience, this kind of special effects technology, in those days, few crews could do it. As for the tsunami part, which is the most difficult part of the whole play, it took the special effects team a month for just one-shot drama, but it does not prevent Zhao Liying from using her acting skills to retain the audience. 02. Wang Yibo played the traitor to life in this passage, counting the famous scenes and no name that make people stand up. Anonymous is another masterpiece created by director Chen in 6 years. It is said that director Cheng is famous for directing literary films, Before Lust, Caution and Anonymous. Such a painstakingly created commercial blockbuster did not disappoint everyone's expectations. It became very popular during the Spring Festival, and I finally took the time to watch it last weekend. To be honest, I saw a lot of comments before, such as I was stunned after watching it, I didn't understand it, our family of 4 left the theater and didn't understand what was said, etc. I hesitated for a long time. Do you want to watch this movie for a while? In contrast to the rumored large number of unsuitable scenes for children in Manjiang dissuaded me, and I finally chose No Name. In particular, there are many wonderful and famous scenes in the film. People who watch it are either heavy-hearted, passionate, extremely angry, or heartbroken silently. This not only reflects the superb acting skills of the actors, but also the epitome of the hidden heroes of that era, so that our descendants will not forget the history in peaceful times and are full of admiration for the heroes. Let's take a look at these famous scenes together. Not long after the opening of the film, in Guangzhou, Japanese planes were bombing back and forth over the city, and there was heavy rain. At this time, the city of Guangzhou was in ruins, with ruins everywhere. In the heavy rain, a few people were pulling a trolley and moving slowly. The trolley was full of corpses. On the way forward, you could see the corpses of various people from time to time. It felt like those corpses were like garbage. It can be seen everywhere, creepy, and the dim picture is also very depressing. At this time, a wet and lame puppy found the door of a bomb shelter, trying to escape the heavy rain at the only shelter nearby. There were 2 soldiers standing at the door, and the air raid shelter was full of people, and Mr. Ho, played by Tony Leung, was also standing there to avoid the rain. One of the soldiers saw the puppy approaching, so he hit the puppy with the butt of his gun, trying to drive it away, but failed to drive it away after several attempts. Another soldier divided his dry food in half, threw it into the heavy rain, and lured the puppy to snatch the food. Only then did he succeed in driving the puppy away. The puppy picked up food, but had nowhere to go. He could only lean helplessly against the firewood pile in the heavy rain. The scene at that time made an idiom pop up in my mind, the dog of the scattered family. I think this is what director Chen wanted to express when shooting this scene. Under the circumstances at that time, the people's homes in Guangzhou were blown up, and there was nowhere to hide, just like this homeless puppy, being slaughtered by others. Although there is no direct broadcast of whether the puppy is dead or alive in the end, there is a high probability that he will not survive, just like a corpse on the ruins. I think, director Chen wanted to use this picture to tell everyone what kind of environment the common people were in at that time. After understanding this, you can better understand the behavior of the unsung heroes behind. In the cell of the Wang puppet government, many arrested revolutionary comrades of our party were detained. The director did not directly photograph the prisoners in prison, but told the story through small prisons, many vicious dogs in cages, and pools of blood on the ground that can never be washed away. One day, after interrogating a prisoner in prison, Mr. Yi, played by Wang Yibo, killed the prisoner with a razor. The picture is very slow. He pointed the razor at the prisoner's throat, and then pressed the other end of the blade hard, and was instantly splashed with blood all over his face. He took out a cigarette to suppress his shock, but found that his hands were shaking so badly that he couldn't light the cigarette at all. I think the brilliance of this passage lies in Wang Yibo's trembling hands. Although he pretended to be calm at the time, his trembling hands betrayed his heart. Everyone here still doesn't know that Wang Yibo is also an underground party, or the one that lurks the deepest. It's unbearable to kill each other, but as a hidden person, there is no way. This paragraph portrays the characters very delicately. Different from other dark and depressing scenes, this section is in the sun and green at the beginning, which may be for a stronger contrast later. In the background of several huge chimneys that read "Long Live Chairman Zhang," in order to catch the person who put the corpse in the well, the Japanese devils forced a group of innocent workers to stand in a row, and wanted them to confess themselves to be shot. The ignorance and fear of the countdown before the shooting made the workers standing and waiting for the doom to come trembled. Finally, seeing that the murderer could not be found, the devils dug a deep pit and let these workers stand in the deep pit with a cement slurry outlet above their heads. When the cement slurry was first poured, everyone would dodge and escape for a while. As the slurry increased, the workers could no longer move and could only be covered by the slurry. The cement slurry was poured continuously, extinguishing their hope of life little by little. The face of the last boy, who was slightly shorter, was completely covered by cement, and the top of his head was flooded. The despair brought through the screen was like a hopeless nation at that time, which could only be slaughtered. Mr. He, played by Tony Leung, is exposed in a hidden way. He wants to leave the Wang puppet government and meet his real lover, Miss Chen. Miss Chen opened the door and saw Mr. He outside the door, and the two hugged each other and cried. The fear and uneasiness under the extreme defense, the unbelievable well-being of the reunion after a long absence, and the joy of finally being reunited and no longer separated, are all released at this moment. Although Miss Chen didn't cry, her eyes were filled with tears, her eyelids fluttered when she closed her eyes and the muscles at the corners of her mouth twitched. These subtle movements all express these emotions very well. In the oppressive environment of the film, this way of expression, which is better than sound, is more in line with the theme and reality, and the performance of the actors is very tense. Their identities were exposed, and Tony Leung and Miss Chen were about to leave, but they were stopped by Wang Yibo, who immediately chased him. In order to protect his lover, Tony Leung chose to confront Wang Yibo, dragging the other party to let Miss Chen get away. Thus, the two male gods, the old and the young, began to fight hand to hand. How much the audience enjoyed watching, how real they played. The fists hit the flesh, and the moves were fatal. I was terrified, I held my breath, and my mood fluctuated accordingly. The scars and bloodstains all over his body are the best proof of hand-to-hand combat. I was amazed at Tony Leung's physical fitness at the time. He was still able to fight so much at such an advanced age. It was really amazing. At that time, Japan was defeated, Tony Leung was released from prison, and registered at the gate to leave. At this time, the truck that captured the Japanese war criminals and traitors drove over, and Wang Yibo happened to be in the car. At this time, he also saw Tony Leung, so he showed a treacherous and sinister smile, and compared his hand to a gun to shoot the head, which instantly angered Tony Leung. Because, at this time, everyone thought that Miss Chen was killed by Wang Yibo, Tony Leung lost his lover, and Tony Leung was so angry that he wanted to climb into the truck and tear Wang Yibo apart. I think the wonderful thing about this scene is that Wang Yibo's demonstration completely brought to life the image of a traitor. If it is said that Wang Yibo before the film was very quiet, without any more actions or words, even though he was a traitor, he did not have that treacherous flavor, it was very flat and boring. Then, at this moment, this action makes this image full and three-dimensional in an instant. At that time, seeing his provocative actions, which were bad and treacherous, the audience was very angry and hated, wishing to rush up and shoot him, so it can be seen that this performance is not bad. Overall, I think No Name is a good movie. Let everyone look at this period of history again, remember the scene of oppression at that time, remember how the underground workers in the revolutionary period risked their lives to send information, and remember how they defended the motherland with their blood and lives. Let us in the peaceful age always remember that we are the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation, and establish the concept that everyone is responsible for defending the country.